Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dagi Douglas the man, Douglas Raganya, all the way from Raskoror. It is what it is, not what it ought to be. Today we'll be talking about one of the greatest topics. A lot of things. You must first ask yourself, what is law? Law, it is what it is, not what it ought to be. The fairness of the law, the unfairness of the law. As we see, sometimes a lot of people say, law, it is unfair. But there is nothing not knowing that you don't know. But there is something wrong not knowing that you don't know. I'm not alone. I'm with my co-host, my brother, and we two men. So, my brother, you know, but who's my brother? And why am I saying my brother?
Oh, thank you, Daki. Brenda ki mosetsana o tswang ko Northern Cape, Katsalo, a little place called Pampierstad.
Pampierstad?
Yebo.
Okay.
Born, raised, bred and buttered there. I then assumed to come to Pretoria for academic, continuation after matric. Then kakra mmereko immediately ka 3rd year yaka in the Department of Justice. Then I've been working there forever. However, I've got series of nicknames. The one that I got from you as a friend and colleague in the legal fraternity has been the star since day one. And I always relate more to this one, because I've related to a lot of gents ever since I was growing up. I'm a friend to many men. So the notion there is that I will always look out for my gents or my brothers because I know through the justice system, some of them are disadvantaged because of not knowing what they ought to know. So yeah, that's basically Brenda for you.
Wow, that's good. Buitumen. Mara before we come Buitumen, you know kas ga gesu ne? Rakgadi. No ba re ke moloi. Rakgadi le moga ja malome. So what asimoloi? I'm not saying Rakgadi ke ba loi mara go le yena. Re tla re ke no utlogele. So Buitumen.
Okay, na ke Bitumelo ka lebitso from Free State. Ke holetse Free State. Plekeng e bitswang Qwaqwa Habedi. And then yes, ke kentse primary ka Gauteng, and then afterwards I went to Bronxprade. So that's in Gauteng next to Mpumalanga. And ke retse high school ka Gauteng. Afterwards I ferret my studies go UNISA. I'm studying law and I'm doing my final year.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, bo.
You know, today's topic actually it's interesting and it affects many people. A lot of people in South Africa, more especially men. Because sometimes we tend to think malao when it comes to banna or unfair. More especially if we were to talk about, because we're going to talk about this, the issue of access to children. There are a lot of fathers that are denied access to children. And so I want us to unpack this. Is it fair for motho wa mosadi gore a deny ngwana access ya gore a bone papa? Why is it normal in most of South Africa? Because it's normal.
If I have to come up with maybe not an answer, but just an explanation of why women feel strongly that they have rights to deny men of access to the kids. Being a primary caregiver makes people to be entitled to thinking that because papa teng ha teng. And that is not the case when it comes to the law. Molao ga o dumele gore motho a be disadvantaged only on the notion ya gore ga bereke or cannot provide or is or any other reason that can be there. Therefore, the disadvantages mo bathong ba banna mostly e ba gore they do not know what to do next. And which is why the Department of Justice, through all these other family units that are giving services, ought to be accessed for people to know and learn the processes of what to do when such is happening.
Okay. So let me just throw this to you. Let's say we have got this father. This guy has been there for his kid while he's still young. And now the child has been taken away from him. And the court comes and say, no, we can't give you primary residence. You mentioned something about the primary residence of a minor child. I want us to start there before we go the issue of maintenance. Ngwana o tsejwe mmago o shia ngwana le wena o shia ngwana, you raise the child, suddenly mma o atla o tšea ngwana. Why is court unfair when it comes to that? They take away the primary residence of that minor child.
In most cases, or I would say it's not a general concept, but each and every case, as we know, ought to be dealt with according to its own merits.
Merits ya re bolela ka lenyalo.
Dintlha tse dingwe le tse dingwe tsa case e different, they will be dealt with differently. So if there were situations or circumstances that led to the father having to take care of the child while the mother is doing something, there ought to be an agreement between both of them, whether written or not written, by arrangement, to say that, let's say somebody says, I need to go pursue my studies. So when because or berekela mo gae and you are working, because your mom is also around, you can be able to assist while I'm also going to pursue a career. Those are kind of things because of, at least there is mutuality in saying that the agreement is that we want to see so if factors like those comes out, I believe there will be a forum for both parents to can be able to sit around the issue and say that, listen, 6 years later, I went to varsity, I graduated, I'm also working. So I can give up opportunity now as I would have wished. But because of situation, I can give 6 years ago. Is it possible for me to now take the child and carry on? You know, because of arrangement there, could not have come without people sitting down and agree.
Okay. So, Mara, okay, Mara, what actually the primary residence of the minor child? It is always given to the mother. Are they saying that fathers can raise kids?
I don't think lawmakers or people that that rights have that in their mind to say that fathers cannot, because we do have and then they have to be to meant for the kids, but naturally, legally, I'm talking about the natural part of a woman who would have carried a child 9 months. It's only nature that allows that after the 9 months, now the caring that comes part of why a child should be next to you start being breastfeeding and making sure that all the other things fall into place. Breastfeed. So that is just the natural part. The natural part of what informs Mulao. Then it means the primary residence, young one would be with the mother, unless otherwise proved differently. I think that emanates from there. That is just a natural fact that cannot be taken away, unless if Papa at birth, then the father has to go. And Papa nang involved. A person is willing to do that. The grandfather or the grandmother will come and pick the child up because I cannot do it on my own. But naturally, I think that is why then legally it becomes fitting for the mother to be the primary caregiver.
Okay, but the part clarity on it is, why is it that they have to like like, why is it a must for them to actually while the mother and side next, and they can even say Mwana is not supposed to take the surname ya Papa Hai until Papa Hai ahlaula.
So now what I think you get culture we are or mutwa atlhaole ga tsaka se utlhaola go dire a bo ro tlhaola ra ro a patele damage. Hey, o bolela ga belwe. So but You know, I like before we move to the other one. Yeah, some mothers you can see, or this one is not fit and proper to raise a child. You know, the drugs literally and alcohol. Yeah, because go ja motho a neglectile ngwana a moshile le bakoko wa gwe batswadi ba gwe wena o tsamaye or no, I'm trying to take my child, I'll raise my child as a father, but the court can't give you that because even if you go video go jwaleng a bina a beile jwala mo.
The reason why the facts are not the same is because cases will come differently every time. So you ought to prove what you are alleging in either way. Like, I don't think
Whoever alleges must prove.
he
That's all.
who alleges must prove. Yeah, and I think it goes for everything, especially when a determination has to be made of a child that we know or batla protection. So any magistrate will seek evidence to say that why are you saying that this mother Scala Vanting cannot take off the child and whatnot. Bring us full proof. Maybe proof sometimes it comes in the form of the relatives, some side you coming to say that, but we do validate what the guy is saying. And every time he comes there, wana ha tlhapa because mateng, and we are getting tired of also taking care of the child because the mother is very negligent. So if and when you have a case to can be able to put there, I think by evaluation you ought to be given the benefit to say that then let them take the power e mama na leng yone and no wena yes ntate o kgone gore o kgone go ikgodisetsa ngwana gago the way that you see fit.
It's the word odd, you know. So
Yes.
moving forward,
Oh, Nigeri, let me just also just have a bite on the issue ya go hlaola.
or to pay the damage.
Yes, go hlaola. Remember, we've got cultures in South Africa and rona batho ba bantsho. I'll make an exception of makgoa le batho ba ba buang sekgowa and makhalats and what. But rona batho ba bantsho, we tend. I'm not speaking ill of our tradition or the practices.
No, it's the
However,
facts. It is what it is.
we need to balance these things together le molao to say that if it happened in the previous years and it was working for the people, batho ba kgale, you who gets affected now in the 19th centuries, 21st centuries, you ought to make your own decisions tse di fitang wena, tse di sutang wena, because ideally ga ke tsale for damage, I already see a problem there. To damage. And if you call a little girl, she is damaged because somebody must come and pay for her to have gotten pregnant. When you have to break down for damage, you are if you put it in their head, it becomes something wrong already because the pregnancy itself. You understand? This is the scenario that I will not align myself with if I have to face something like that. Now that my daughter got pregnant and a family, you know, the basics can happen. You can go and sign a respect. You know what? We are saying that we are aware that your child has done this as its procedure. The cultural practices. The monetary part, but then we need to absolve ourselves from some of the practices because you may be made to pay damage now. Even not something affect in the future because you can't move away from the baby daddy ka gore patetse damage ga o tlhole o itse gore a ne le phate ya lobola or na patella ngwana, you are just hanging there because damage ipatetswe. And then when are you going to be free from the damage word? How one has none know you are cleared from that. These are the things that we need to look at and say that I would rather go this way of saying family ya bo papa le ka mo bo mama and I'm affected in this. Let's sit around the table and re godise ngwana rotlhe. By so doing re thoma ka di pampers.
That's good.
Or the medical bill ya spetlele. Rona bo mama gore how do we pay this, the consultations tsa di gynecologist, then let's share the bill and the expenses. Then ngwana o tla gola sentle because ga gona motho a leng damaged between the boy and the girl. That's all that
problem. How was it damage? as we indicated that I find it unfair that as men, we've been denied this, or in principle, or Lena, I can be somebody who can raise my child. You indicated, or for an example, motswadi ngwana agar during birth a hlokofala, the father can take over. But in some cases, why is it that the court, if you pay, the court totally disagrees? Or Rena, as fathers, we have to prove beyond on balance of probability that I'm a fit person who can raise my child. Do you think that it's fair?
To a certain extent, I won't say that it is fair. Remember, these laws can be repealed by the new ones that are coming in. And if substantially we can have...
I wish we could build one.
I believe for everything can change. Yeah, I think there can be a way in which men can actually take it up to say that if there are men who are taking care of kids upon the mother passing away, why should it be that under normal circumstances we have to prove without having to go on balance of probabilities that we are fit parents to can also do that. Like I said courts are relying on the natural part when it comes to women. So it is something that needs also to be looked at to say that if men can do it in the absence of basadi ba tlhokofetseng, then it means they are also fit parties to can do that at any time.
Yeah, so the magistrate must make sure. So accommodate man. So do me when it comes to us men.
I think most of the tato ya modimo. Honestly, because modimo le na tla ba yentse gore okay fine what's about nani ngwana for that 9 months o bonda le mama hai wa ntla as like she was saying gore nani that 9 months o bonda le mama how to a point whereby like ngwana she won't be able to live without the mother for has it affects o belehwa.
She won't live.
What if that's when tato ya modimo it's enang he will make a way. I don't know how, but
the fathers will there.
That's when I told it Lisa, because now how's a choice? Obviously, it will be you.
The father.
Yes.
So which means you are agreeing with the fact that law is being unfair more than when it comes to raising kids.
Not.
It is what
but
it
honestly,
is.
from a get-go,
Why not?
There are cases to me where a mother dies on delivery bed.
Woman dies.
Yes.
That's when she dies, it makes sense. No, like the nearest person is among papa.
But then the father do not have to go anywhere to prove themselves. So the reason why ke bua ka bo unfair ba se se leng teng ko di court ke gore most of the times a father who comes and say ke batla access go tshwanetse go ne le di investigations tsa gore ko dulang teng a ngwana o khona go fita in your current partner o tla tlhokomela ngwana sentle, but when it comes to your mother it's just natural that they can be there.
That's why
to a certain extent I agree with it. Alina Matsele.
Formula. We'll try to rely on formula.
Yeah.
So now, you've mentioned something about the access, which is one of the subheading that I want us to deal with. The issue of access.
Access to your child.
So let's say ke na le ena ngwano le mmao yena ngwano wa go shish. Then now what's it bophelo? Life is life.
Life is life indeed. It's lifing.
But somebody salary bophelo bo boima ga mutsaro why o buguke problem again o ga ndra buguka. Let's google it. Then but in access, that is one thing that is more painful. I'm sure 65% of fathers in South Africa are denied access. So rena banta de really no deny access.
Nto wa ne eli dirang eli mphoso e ke bona mo bonta teng ke gore lwangala. Yeah, you take it with the emotions and then it throws you off. O feletsa o feel gore ga o batla go rapela motho ka ngwana. But fast forward to that, we see a lot of comebacks. Sabo, utatako. These are the things that are unnecessary. If people were coming to the party, because you would know what your responsibilities are as a father being denied a child now. You know what lena ke a court. I agree maintenance o ya court. Lena ke a court because of I know that's my right. Gore ke go batla access ya ngwana ke. Ga o tlo go emela ngwana nna 35 le bile dira masiko le dirang.
You know, there are some cases that we come across whereby go ja lore papa ngwana o tsamaya le ngwana wa motšheng mma ngwana tsamaye a bule case ya kidnapping and the police, they are so quick to go and arrest the father. Do you think that is fair?
You know, I would always go back to saying that each case will be dealt with according to its own merits. Go na le di staged kidnapping. Go na le di kidnapping tse di legitimate. Tsa gore I did not know where he was taking my child to.
But he's a parent. Now, as the father, I don't have a problem with you taking my child to see your boyfriend elsewhere or meet with whoever you want to meet. But when it comes to me as the father, let's say, I'm taking my child for an ice cream. Then the mother rushed to the police and say, my child has been kidnapped. And she's not even ashamed to say by the father of that child.
No, I think like like you want things that people would do just to come at you. If a person wants to frustrate you as well, they will go the longest way to say that ke batla go montsha. And o bontsha motho mo wrong because at the end of the day your child is in between this whole thing. Ya gore o batla go bontsha papa gago, but at the same time you equally share the responsibilities of how is now her upbringing or his upbringing comes about. Because le ga ka go bulela case at that stage la tla reconcile. The fact of the matter gore ngwana must be taken care of. So to spite you by opening cases, city false and whatnot, those are draining things. But the emotions more than there to use, in fighting you. Yes.
The court now accept that it is kidnapping. Why are they obliged before they apply this thing to make sure this issue? It can be dealt as kidnapping. Why can't we just first sit down? They will make sure, they will hurry, make sure that, yeah, but kidnapping. So, when are we going to event?
I feel like you as males, bo papa rina, you guys are comfortable with mama rina or naning baby rina because, like she's saying, merits. So I feel like Lena like you guys sit down, if Luana you can stand up with your court and go fight or and I think they will do something. They will never just sit down like hello Lena self and sit down, live comfortable rina, mama.
Why should I go to court first? Why not go court or access and they say everyone is equal before the law? Because this is honestly, I feel like to be a man in this country,
it's a sin.
It's a sin. And
let's pray about it.
The law is not on our side.
Let's pray about
because
it.
We must first go to court for us to see our children.
To prove yourself.
If I just take my child, that amount to kidnapping.
But it's that's the whole thing. And I balance in this thing because either or they support kids and they don't want to have access. They don't even want to take part. They are saying ATM fathers, I support and I don't want to see the child. Let's say I don't want to see any of your previous kids in my house. Understand? So there are a lot of things the informal behavior because of I suspect something. There are so many issues. Hence I always refer to saying that the facts it's one case, they will not be the same as the one on the next yeah.
Bitumelo. So when I just want to know, as I've indicated or asked my sister there, rakgadia bana tse. Wena ke tsoro ke sesia bana. Or mo rena bana, don't you think that dilo ba di dirile difficult, the bar when it comes to marriage has been raised high?
Honestly, yes, it's true. That's why I tla le ka tabela ya hore le tshwantse le hlahole, because I saw hore it's unfair pila because why? Yeah, because honestly now ebile ke experience, I think that's why ke chestile, because yeah, my dad na ba sa mo dumelle hore a mpone wa bona dilo tse di so like eng affectile, and that's why I had to fight nna setse ke lo moholo ke bona hore na actually no, my dad exactly. So
like
like
my
this
dad.
girl, guys.
Wow, fantastic.
So
did he go to court, Lena?
no, not really.
Wow.
Ki tlile ke re nna. So and
Oh,
so
no,
yes, I fought for myself, and I was like yes.
Okay. So Bitumelo, we really hara. You have googled it. So when now, what are the steps je lor papa o di follow, because ba re ka taba o tlhaola, because o tlhaola mo ganti o bo ine le taba e tle tabe wa mind re ka bolela ka tabe.
No, I don't mind. So pila like I think when I was 16, that's when I was like, but now I can like literally go see my dad, and then make kgone ho ya ke mo visit a ka di.
O shumisha ga no ya ka swele or
No, like first level, I told my mom that I need to go see the and ka ba ka kry le number ya papa ka. I called him like, I wanna come visit you. He's like, okay, you can come anytime. Kaya ka lo mona, and then never hana le ka taba ya surname. Like yeah, never nope.
yeah,
You're too much, yo. They're like, no, you can't take your father's surname because house law. And Barry, my dad came. Nakola when I still young, tried to answer tabaya no, because we are not sure. And kero some supporter, hey, utlatla udina onyala mwahega mistake or whatever. But I didn't understand that. So when I was 18, nisiti ki thoma ki tlodula le papa ka. And I was like, you know what? Nna ke nyako thoma ho tsia surname ya hao. And because I know hore ntse le teng no tlisa dilo, and no nyako dula le nna, so why not? We started hey guys. And yeah, last year I went to Home Affairs ki tsere affidavit ya mamaka, and then ka tsia le ya papaka, and I made an affidavit ka tsia di ID copy tsa bona, went to Home Affairs ka change surname ya ka. Now I'm using my dad's surname. Yes, and just for acknowledgement, I want to really like I'm acknowledge. I know he was there. He tried, even though I'm hands. Yes.
So, let's talk about the issue of affidavit.
I Boitumelo Mlangeni, ki surname ya mama. Yes.
Okay.
I agree to take my dad's surname, which is Matibidi, and then ke bua le ID number ya ka, and then yeah. And then yeah, that's all. And then for ya bona le bona they say I, my dad, William Matiya, allows my daughter Boitumelo Mlangeni to take my surname, and my mother says the same thing. Okay, I Lindy Mlangeni agree that my daughter Boitumelo Mlangeni can take her father's.
When organ, but when you're really.
You know, normally here le consular le borakgadi ra re ngwana o itse nnete go tla tla go wena, and that's basically what also vindicates you as a man. O gopola all the doings tse di positive tse papa ga di dirileng when she was still young. She has a recollection of the aparodiclisiwa and all that. So sometimes to just wait, it does not mean you are limiting yourself to having access. But entirely, the bigger picture is that she's validating his existence by using the surname. Acknowledgement.
So let's say now, the child wants to use the surname. The mother refuses to give the affidavit. So, what is happening? What is going to happen? Will just God allow?
I carry there were the Home Affairs part. Yeah, they are the ones that they have reviews or adjudicate. When they adjudicate on the applications, they know what is necessary and what they want to see as content of what is written on the affidavit. You understand? Yeah, as long, like she's saying she was 18 already, she's a major, she's making that choice. She was just allowed to bring support documents to say this is the situation. I believe even when the mother was not agreeing, by the virtue of the fact that she wants to do it and she's already 18, it would have been allowed.
All right. So if you are a minor,
You must just wait. As a father, you must be patient. It's a virtue.
is it fair? Mara, is it fair, Tony?
Yeah, no, Mulao has never been fair, according to me. Like I'm saying, there should be a lot of people writing. It can't just be a blanket approach. Things that were written in 1965 can still be fitting in this era. Yeah, there
Things changes.
Things
Ona le
changes.
formula,
I
papa ka
actually said something to you earlier, Kere. I was surprised in one of the courses that I attended back, I can't remember, 2012 or something, where when we perused the Public Service Act, it had a clause where it said that every employee can have a glass or a pint of alcohol at work during working hours. That's where I realized even the people whether they are, I don't know how to put it, it may be that they are not sober themselves. So we ought to just always be on it. Contestants say believing up until you see it. I believe we just need to fight.
You know, when you say that, it's open. For an example, the recognition of customary marriages, but we will get
to that. Yes.
So, you indicated we have to go to court. We must use the law.
Yes.
So, re gain the access.
Like, bo papa ba na le access molao wa ba letlelela gore ba ka applyela for access ya go bona bana. You go to the children's court in each and every jurisdiction.
Hape go re children's court o goja motho ana rone court e ba ya ge go bana.
I'm gonna break it down.
Yeah.
I'm coming with it. Each and every magistrate court in ali division tse pedi, in ali the district court and the regional court. Now in the district court you will find gore go na le family section. Family section will comprise of your domestic violence, maintenance. It will have your children's court. It will have, it's very vast. Now that's where you go to say that I am here as a father and I need to apply for access to see my child or my children. You understand? Application we did at children's court. Each and every magistrate's court in the country, they do have offices like those. So your application will be taken, they will make you complete, and then after it has been captured and given a case number, you will be called to come and take notice of appearing in court to serve the mother with. The person that is denying you access must be given notice to say that you must come to court so that we can go and talk this thing, adjudicator or mediator. In that sense, it will be the magistrate, the children's court. So that's where you start as a father. Don't say you don't know. This podcast is for you to know.
So why is it not a crime or to deny access? We can criminalize that one. Is it possible that we can criminalize?
If you stop writing laws, it is going to be possible.
Yeah, but again, you can't trust. You know, there is this guy who once said, we vote for people that are not educated to go to parliament and make laws for us. And they don't know that. And it's lawyers that are going to argue gore mototsenji anwe vodka bill.
Exactly.
I operation. Imagine a doctor he perform operation e kwa savana. Mara savana ika one gore. Imagine a 43.
It's dry and you can drink it.
You So you spoke about the issue of maintenance. The topic that we are talking about, the issue of maintenance, whereby it's unfair, more especially to us men. To us men, maintenance wa 15,000. and the mother is also working, onyaka 15,000. The mother is working, abanyaki the very same amount of money. Abari divide chelete into two. Why is it like that? Why are you being unfair, more especially when it comes to the issue of maintenance, the court and
You know, when it comes to maintenance, I have a different view. Because if there is one thing that I've noted, the maintenance court, they are openly fair. What they use there is to assess both the parents and check as to what can be brought to the table to determine an amount that is being applied for from the other party to match that which can make the child to survive. Now, it's not always about the money. You understand? Maintenance. It's not always about the money. This is my view. Mara molao o tla tlang o nna teng for one case that is different from the other. But that ba dila ka one ka defects. Because the one document that you get as an applicant, ke tlo bontshang the expenses tsa gago le tsa ngwana. Go bontsha gore in a month.
applicant ke motho o go claim maintenance.
Applicant e tlo ba mme in this case. I agree when I buela wa re bontate ba irang. So but then the fairness of what I see go maintenance ke gore go play you an open cards. You bring your salary advice and you come and say gore okay, o batla 15,000 te mo go nna ke gola 14,000. Is it reasonable? Now they look at that document that you would have completed to say gore o batala rent 8,000, digital naki 5,000 and whatnot. This is you as a woman. You chose that kind of lifestyle. It should be fitting for you to be able to finance. Now, don't drag the next person and say that you must come and assist me to live this life because of we choose it.
So, at a level in this scenario, now I want to intertwine the issue of maintenance and access. Motho se o tsamaile o ile court. I ile court o khumane order of maintenance because ora ke supporting one. Ke patela whatever the court has asked me to pay because I respect the court. Still, ban deny access.
No, but there's a recourse in that. Remember, okay, Iriki Beso, maintenance court, early children's court. No, the presiding officers there. They're on the same level. There is no one who is higher hierarchy than the other. Now, all the reeling decision yako maintenance court, high binding yako children's court. Hence, the applications can run parallel with one another. If honale order ya maintenance e rengo patala bokana, a person cannot use order ya maintenance area. Ka gore ne ke batla 750 o mpha 500. Therefore, ha o sa tlholo bona ngwana ha ke go bontshe yena. When as papa ngwana o ileng gore you are participating in paying. Le ge o ka sala go morago ka chelete, le ge o ka ba yang go te ga o patele motho ba tla go deny access. You ought to now use the rights that you have that she was talking about. Gore lo ena a maselo ga go bona ga gore I'm fighting to have access to the child. You go to the children's court and equally so go and seek intervention ya gore ke batla go bona ngwanaka. And with what has been granted to maintenance court, I am paying, and I don't think even if I should be now punished by the fact that I cannot see the child because I can't patel. There are going to be different decisions that they are favorable to the child. It's in for because most of the parties are fighting.
Mo South Africa, obana mzanzi go godisa ngwana 5,000 it is enough for ke raka nna ngwana ga ke bolela ka go tsena di cure ka re to ba leng crucifier wa ngo shishi then ke patela that maintenance then you can see gore chelete a mo ngwaneng as the father and again ke totla mo issue you are reduce that the issue of maintenance because ke engwe ya gore o khotsa for an example a father I attend a court, they've got a tendency of just granting what the mother needs. So do you think Lona if why was by way of someone's arrested and everything? I just want to know.
But you know, when it comes to that, the failure of understanding how the law works. The ignorance part of not wanting to be part of the debate, because the court are made to be present as adjudicators. Ga di mo le go tla go gatella mang kapa mang, because that is mostly what is being said by people gore no go di court ra gatellwa. So o kry le gore o na le enga ya case ya go criminal o batla go intshetsa go maintenance, because kwa lo gateletse ona gana re le kwa le go a tshwana, and of which each and everything is dealt with according to file. Gabere ga ba butse file ya ga Brenda ya maintenance ba tla ba kopana le ga mama ga boitumele ya maintenance ba re di a tshwana, we are granting the same. No, ba lebella mabaka differently and the application thereof, and then they grant different decisions based on what they made.
You know the principle. The higher courts, I mean the lower courts are bounded by the higher decision of the higher courts. Yes. So don't you think that if magistrate are try or what's again? Banna, for example, well, I'm going primary care. I go on a very simple again. Go for chance when papa actually primary residence of a minor child is being given to the father. So don't you think they will deal with that person as well?
Yeah, well, like
that magistrate, they will say that magistrate had that pint of vodka.
Yeah, well, but as you know, there will be cited cases from one case to the other that would have came before Yahoo. And if you have anything to the contrary of what you are not agreeing, it will help for you to also research gore a go kile ga nna le case e tshwanang le ya ka defects where I can be able to refer. Well, understand to refer to say that, but in more cases ya mamang le mamang go diragetse batho ba rona gona no, they are no longer as closed up as they used to be, and ignorant. People are researching, they come there with full information gore ba khona go quote di cases, and then they are able to refer gore case ya ka zone ya ntla ke kreile case so, and then ke feel our judgment le mpile yone it's unfair. So, and as well we need to also expose them to information ya gore he was satisfied, just always know gore you can actually appeal the decision of what was made, and then it can go up to the highest.
So in simple terms, skadulelang molao guys is banna. You mean stand up for yourselves, low berekise, because it's given to you guys. Like you must use them. Yeah.
So
Pila, I'm saying you must stand up. Like how okay, more I'm unfairly treated. We are caught and find out which law can you use to fight this battle. Simple.
Hey, but when you go to a lawyer or you go to somebody's attorneys, the money. Sometimes in court they will tell you that you need a lawyer.
Can we also maybe highlight for legally? Not every situation needs a reaction. You must fight kadi lawyer. Because take for instance, if you don't, no. All I'm saying is you can't be unable to pay 2,500 for maintenance, but then you come dragging an advocate away, but it's in cancel away, but it's in 10,000 per appearance. There is no logic in that. Now, the one thing that we need to teach our people, start all of these processes by yourself. Don't fight kadi lawyer because family it's stable. Or olwana ka lawyer re reng gore ha itswa moya go ga gagwe bana ba intact mo tlung mosadi uteng wena o lwa le your ex or whoever the case may be o berekisa molomo wa motho mong, of which henkebele le babedi le bua ka voice tse di sa tshwaneng go na le the third person ka the third ear ile utlweletse e tla re e lemoga gore what are the issues between the two of you at like a decision it will work out best. Koba easy because of the monies that are being used to facilitate the process in terms of paying the attorneys. Sometimes in the case they didn't do was anyway the battle wrong people. And a lawyer need to postpone but next time I create 5,000 appearance next time. Hey, I understand. So it's not we need to tell bad to basically magistrates court, even the divorces. Remember they used to be only at the high courts. Up until they were.
Business.
No, I'm just. That is, remember, we here to come in and to access to justice. So
correct.
they need to know it's not always fitting for you to bring a lawyer to the fore. Come and seek information. Pele, I can escalate and say an attorney can actually assist. Remember there are things that cannot be done by an ordinary lay person. So that's where, but ideally, a person needs to have information of why do I need to get a lawyer. You understand? Because yes, we wouldn't be sitting with situations where we are saying, but to budget the children are rough, where there was a process where a person can apply kaboyene. And they went for something that you would have done. We you are unable to get the basics because of application and we the process was straight. Middlemen in this case, we're talking about round issues. They are gonna give up our people an eye opener. It's not always about fighting, but access to justice means understand the processes. And start the processes and see gore ke ntse se difficult go pele kwale se se ka mpatlang gore ke batle dalimpofu. Yeah.
So like let's say there's this guy out there gaining access. What is it that you can say? No,
masogana gesho nna ntho nka le botsang yone ke gore o ska palelwa ke gore o re you are being defeated without having to fight for what is yours. Berekisang di court. The courts are there for everyone and ga di favor motho. When it comes to access ya bana, e tswang matsholo awa le tsamaeng le lwele bana ba lona go avoid dilo tse leng gore gona no re se re di bona di dirilo di TV productions gore o batlana le ngwana o ana le 40 years a gore are o bona dilo bosigo ba mo re le ba re batlele le papa gago. So when I be in search of your child to help the process ya gore le ka mosho ge o sa mo grey, should you meet up with the child later in life o morore but not this is what I did le di pampiri tsa go khoto di approve gore the only thing that I couldn't get was where you were but I tried to fight for you. So the courts they are open for everyone and anyone in the country.
Yeah. Guys, go to court, magistrate court mongwe and a court for example wherever you go, children's court. You go there, you ask. You don't have to know anything or information. They will guide you. There are people there that are trained to work such cases, or whatever that it is, so that you can gain access to one house. Yeah, what's
just on that one, we need to note as well, as much as the magistrates court applying for access to the child, how did the application determine you ke ko ngwana dutseng ko teng?
Yeah, mo ngwana wa no if o ne le ngwana Cape Town o jwa
ga ona gore wena le mama ngwana le kopane ku Univen agere la kopana la ku Univen wena o tswa Shoshanguve mago ngwana o tswa Klerksdorp agere then le o bereka Cape Town and what not o bereka in Cape Town if ke mama ngwana ene ngwana o setse ku Klerksdorp wena ha o Cape Town ko mmago a leng ko teng o ya ko ngwana a leng ko teng which can be o ya ko Klerksdorp ko ngwana a leng housed ko teng where you are going to make an application. It's not all over the show. Khasiko wena papa o leng ko teng ke ko ngwana a leng residential.
Ba du di share go ga mo try maema le go kgwedi ngwa go mo o tla go tsaning so
the bottom line will be that at least even if wa itse gore matemba re onna Cape Town a gre o tla bo sa itse the facts but kwa tlhagang go teng because of surely before le nna le ngwana go bane le some of the background information e le fanang tsone you ought to also do your background check gore kana ba re ngwana ke o ko kae then you follow that what the application go if ile gore notice ya go saviwa kwa house address ya ko mama ngwana tlhagang go teng batsadi ba ga go bana le responsibility ya gore ba mo notify gore lekwalo le le tlile from go court gate wena ke ka lebakeng la ngwana o re dulang le ene which is our credit
ga bo mangwana ma jwang go ya le dikuile ke go sa tsebe gore ngwana go kae go sa tseba ke re ba mongwe ba tsebe go ja motho a chabile le ngwana ile boyfriend din Thembisa monneng then o tsamaya ya if o tswa skororo o ya mlenyenya ke le shumisha hotel lenyenya ga skororo o ya gana kwa lenyenye wa make sure ya gore o dia that application batswadi ba tlo botsa ha wa motho o sentse ya monneng Thembisa wa tswa re shumisha magistrate court wa Thembisa. So re tsabela ka ene back to the issue of maintenance. For example, the order is being given what's about rena banna kana ngwe actually re no tshedi lo pay for we just go ignorant because hoja gisa ya court judgment has been given ya gore I must maintain the child. Later I find out that ngwana was work and I've been maintaining this child. I want to know that it's possible go boima ka mo ntle ka mo go boima bathong batho ba go disha bana ise ba bona ba gare ba patela di maintenance so ke tsweng ke dieng ona mo.
It's a pity that we won't have answers for what you should do, but as a recourse of wanting to get back what you have spent, it will just be a matter of following it up, having to save the lady with a lawsuit. Then how are you going to determine how much have you lost over a period? I don't know, 17 years. From the age 0 to 17, would you calculate as a human being? Or are you going to be fatherly and say, okay, let bygones be bygones? But you know what? I'm not even aware of what the law says when it comes to that. But because there would have been money that is lost on your part, then if you want to hold her accountable.
So I look at the issue. For an example, there is an interim order that has been given. The interim order can judgment about why you feel kana go ene gore no ba ile effective go maintenance or okay fine ba o patala 500 but ba re DNA when it comes back nope 0.000%.
Ewa idira gantsi agree stop immediately the interim order.
So abari ga chelete ipatetse wa back.
No. It differs from one person to the other. Gona le ba leng gore they are men enough and say that you know what ke ne ke mo tlhokometse ka gore I also had preconceived ideas tse di beile mo go nna tsa gore ke ngwanake. Therefore it's okay. But going forward, as you know, I'm vindicated from this. I'm no longer going to be party. But if they are hard at understanding, they will go to the length and breadth of saying, which is what you did for 13 years or whatever. So give back. So that's have money, So what will you stand to benefit?
No, I don't want to lie. Honestly, as men, would you agree with me? For it to be on the side of a man, you have to straight. Would you agree with me?
No, well, you know what? I'm fully in agreement that naturally we are being classified when it comes to the law. So advantage being that the upper hand mostly is given to Basadi. I would just make a little scenario. When there's a case assault, there's always, before you can read the docket, there's always a belief that metile can need. I get it. Then we know generally that's the pandemic. GBV goes with men beating women. But flip the coin, it will flip out who's the complainant, who's the accused. It's provocation. Believe firstly. I agree that complainant. and which now makes it difficult for men to go lay charges. I don't know if you know.
What
gore,
about
a lot of men. A lot of men are saying that. Kiboni, one of the other shows, I just saw a clip where a man is saying that ompeta kadimpama, ompeta, and the person who was interviewing both of the people, that lady are hi. Nego untelo ukuthi like impama nje airplane izokalisa. You know, and that's assault. Yeah, that's assault. And then the only person that should cry being beaten should be a woman. And women are very provocative. Like, I don't take anything away from them. I don't have a problem. I don't give an ink. But I have always been between battling to fit in with what ideologies Tabasadi are versus what men think like. Yeah. You know that book, Act Like a Man, Think Like a Woman. My advantage in all of this, and for me to be vocal about issues that I know, but they are pressurized, because of I've related more on how men are thinking because understand. So when it comes to women who try to excuse more than anything, why also about relationship. Yeah, so okay. Have you ever thought about the child? Not your interest for now. The emotions. Can't separate the two? You know what? And I don't have a problem. Let me just make it easy for you. Weekend. I don't care. Answer what kind of a relationship did they have when they were still lovers, and then how did they break up? Because it has got nothing to do with one. Wabo. That is basically that. So
the emotions.
They are written nowhere. Yeah, you can fly as high as the kite, but we're not gonna pull you back. You will come back to Mother Earth and why are emotional versus the facts on the table.
So, do you think law is fair?
And I got a assault. I think also
you can do what men can do. What men do, whatever men can do, you can do it.
All we know, we can drag God into all of these things, but then if we have to go the biblical way, submission is very eminent from a woman. You can never, not even raise your voice to any man. The lineage, you know, from your father to your partner to your lover, and you can't. And this thing, it would be irreciprocal. If you don't raise a voice to somebody, they can never lift a finger to you. It would have been something that she said.
Yeah.
And what did he say? No. 80% of male being assaulted, Baba Sabui, representing these stats. It's because of they're trying to keep their masculinity intact. And Bunzi Baba never respect her or Babata ho keep the household intact. And then humiliation, it's about the Kriyankudi police station. Let's on my bra, why would you see? People get victimized. You are a victim from your home. Second time victimization go police station. You also na go court no, David wa bona how great justice e o
Yeah.
expectileng and kante molao tshwantse gore ha e le gore koloi e na le maoto a mafo e se ka tsamaya ka go nna imbalanced o tsamaye smooth ge e le gore the woman has to stand there as an accused and the man become a complainant, so be it, so that at least at the end of it all le banna ba kgone go fila gore the protection ya molao o mo saeteng la bone.
So ke botsise je banna ba go botlhoko go ba patela maintenance ge ba nyaka go fokotsa maintenance fet ke le zaman so because go le monna tšhelete go godimo mara o nyaka go fokotsa maintenance process nyana as a process mara
No, ke process le yone. Having to apply for reduction is a process on its own. E tshwana le increase a kere ga o ya go apply la increase e tshwana le reduction
Sabale, ka bo
and
increase
ge o reduce ge e tlhontšwe e be gore then le teng o bontsha mabaka gore why ke re le fokotse nako ele ne ke gola 18,000 gona anong ke gola 12,000 there's 6 and ke na le 6,000 difference e leng gore e reducitse and in on top of that ke gope go na le di-commitment tse dingwe mare o tlhagisa bopaki a ke re wa itse gore o tla ka sengwe le setlankana wa bontshela gore this is what I'm getting as a take home. So ene ke khona ka go ha e tlole kgonega so ne ke re le ke kopa le fokotse ba tlo ira inquiry, they will get documentation sa o bontsha gore ka nnete this is what you get in the bank and ba re hube ga tshwane le setle kore half a bread la re ile kana le ntho whatever that you bring to the table ga tshwane le nothing at all. So, yes.
so gore ba ba no le bana ba bangwe maintenance order di jile o sa gola ka mogololo o ka bona re ke ne le responsibility engwe ke gopela maintenance wa ka lo gore ke gone go balance equation.
That's why reduction is across the board. Like it's an application that you need. Go tshwana le ge o ya go apply la gore a ke sa tlhole ke bereka ke ne ke kopa gore no order e le dirileng le mind the fact that I'm no longer employed. Either ha ke kreile mmereko ke tla boa gape ke tla go itlhagisa gore ke tla tswela pele ka go patela but in the interim ha ke kgonne gore ke kreye matogo a ke a berekang ke tla thusa mo ke thusang unlike re dule ka order e tlo bang e ka re nna ke a deviate from what I've been directed by the court and then ga ke patele e be nna sekoloto mo leineng laka you go and notify the courts.
Okay. So le dikile majita if le na le ba bangwe ka montle ke ra ke strategy ka ke a le zama ona le bana ko ntle waya ke ne le plus 3 tšhelete be ke iša ka ta ke kgopela go e balance
Mara plus 3 o tshwanetse o improve. Remember plus 3 can be bana ba bo kgaitsadi plus 3 plus 3 can be something that you are just mailing out there and saying gore we say as an excuse. You then have to prove gore plus 3 ele e tswa gape mo go yone salary ele because what if o tsere ngwana sesi wa gago le ngwaga mang wa re ke batla go tlhakantsa fela ka dira plus 3. Not DNA but to show that you are supporting those kids. Agar bank statement e tla bontsha gore ke romela bokana go go
ke re mang ka nna ke tsere hard cash
as
ke tsere hard cash ke fa ngwana how am I going to prove apa go ke tseng ke dilo
but I don't think gore in this time in age or era gona le ngwana o supportiwang ka ha ke dispute gore that could be the case.
e nna taxi driver apa a re gole ka ntho
Ka salary advice.
taxi driver di ne di
Ba patele mare bo mageza ga nke go nna le di-complain ka bone ka gore ba phela ba tshwere mmoto and basadi ba rata tšhelete. So I'm just saying gore ga gona a case where you will find gote ya motho wa taxi driver ebile ba iswile di-court because phela ba tshwere zaka so tsa bone ke gore o go tswalela molomo ka di-Friday ha dira check-in wa itse gore o kry-a tlhombe ya gago.
Yeah, mara nna ke gana ya gore we have to prove gore I've got other responsibilities. Ke na le ngwana let's say ke dula le yena ngwana ba ba ke na le bana ba ba itereka mo ntlong go la ka kwa ntle be ke mo maintainer then go ke tsweng ke prove
wa itse go le gore a re dire example le scenario sa go tshwana le bail application it gets denied the first time. Then yeah, bail application it gets denied. Then the lawyer di go ra dira na re go tla o ira di lawyer tse dintšha ba go ra na ra go ikry o ska wa. Second time what are the reasons that they advance to the court to say gore ba tlisa application eng exactly. So in an inquiry ya maintenance, there must be new facts. Tsa gore why or the amount o no e patela ga itlele e le fitting coming off your pocket. So those new facts, if ile koloi,
Polo
if ile DSTV or gile package ile yotlhe ya bofelo, kote tlo gore dilo tse ke di luxuries.
mara ke tloka koloi.
I'm just saying gore
ngwana ye,
mabaka a dilo tse di dirang gore sometimes it's such kind of applications ska di a hold a water. O tla ka dilo tse leng gore ga se di kana luxury le di needs, necessities. Wa bona o tlo bontsha gore you will have to you will prove gore okay ke consultant and I go around having to go. That can make sense, but as a consultant it means you are making more money then because of the more whatever on what you are doing. It will not harbor around or hamper with your salary. Because part of what you are doing is to going around and getting clients and signing clients and whatnot. So all I'm saying ke gore if gona le mabaka mantsha a wa tlisa to say that ga ke tlhole ke kgona go dira this much, I can with this much, come and show it.
Okay, lore dijo di a tura go majeje. So let's say dijo you know, for an example, borotho ga bana ke 20 rand.
More than that, 23 rand.
So such kind of thing, do you think it covers some of the reasons
living
that
expenses?
Yeah,
you know, if it affect as a payer, I believe for these are the things that we are saying. Make use of the courts. Skala na court is only there to favor certain people and not yourselves.
It lean on your side most of the time.
You know why does it sound or it look like that? We are patient with the processes. Why is
patient
file maintenance today? Come March 3. You will find the date already go August due to remember, let's make an example ka Pretoria. Let's make an example ka Pretoria alone. Pretoria is a visa area. Pretoria, we are Pretoria West. We go to Pretoria North, part of it. Bo Hercules Batlakamo, Vulnerable Port. You go to Moot. Ne? If Pretoria East, we service Pretoria holistically. We service Waki Central.
Holistically.
Pretoria Central, Magistrates Court has to service all these places, plus Olive and Holt, Bosch, and a deep slot, and a deep slot, the Welamo. You understand? Now you will find Horka Mantaha Imagine. So the applications are maintenance. It's a Manta between Mantaha and today. O tla kry le gore di date tse batho ba di newang due to bontsi ba tsone di date already di tlela mo after 4 months and how o tla go sheba ID like ngwana o safara no maro emela date because of so that's why gore basadi bana le patience rena le this thing ya go leta re you know at the end of it all e tla tlhagella gore ke go tsena ko forum ya gore why ke batla gore ngwana thusege mare banna ge tla mo saiteng la gago la gore o go apply la reduction or o go apply la cancellation ya maintenance o fela pelo ya gore banna bangala for process engwe le engwe administrative o ngaletsa ka gore o re then sekoloto se le sa order ya maintenance e ba a debt over your head hanging and then ka o sa no wa makala o krile spane se se sharp ba batla go ganisha
ya ba tseba banna ba bantši. So, are level one of the issues that I wanted to raise. Yeah, before the jurisdiction, the bedlock, the access to justice. But for date, imagine we had March, but for date, August. Do you think there is access to justice when it comes to that?
That is exactly what I'm saying in as far as what we find ourselves dealing with practically. ga ona control over the diary and the influx, the service e renderiwang. Because if you look at the feeder ya rona ya Pretoria Central, ya ka ke go boleletse, but Oliven e le one, Oliven Houtbosch e le one, on a Monday, ko court ya teng. The whole entire courtroom e tlala ka batho ba Oliven fela. And that court is servicing 3 other police stations. Ke bua ka di first appearances. I'm not talking about the normal role. Now I'm just even deviating to criminal. Ke go direla example of what we are faced with. Here we bua ka di backlog throughout. O krea batho ba tswang police station ya Oliven ka mo di seleng ba le 40 something. Ba ba tswang Silverton ba le 18. Ba ba tswang Pretoria West ba le 12. Maphodisa too have to man that crowd of men coming to court. Now, gallery it tletse ka di family tsa batho ba botlhe ba tswang go di police station tse 3 ba bana ba tshwarwa ka weekend gore ba tle court ka Mantaga. So this is the same thing e diregang in all the other offices. Gona no di office tsa di divorce di na le di queues tse di telele than all the other offices tse di leng teng tsa di service point, because people are just not coping with what they have gotten themselves in. And Lone, it's just one factor maybe on another date. Divorce has gotten to be one way of people saying, no, let's, you know what, I'll rather walk away. Ga go tlhole go na le tsela ya gore batho ba re ba bankanya manyalo a bone in a more decent way ya gore a re involve bagolo di family di kopane go buiwe. Most of the time ke di fork like
pension, pension. Mara ye o re tlo tla mo yona.
Yeah,
So le boletse ka children's court, the interest of the minor children. The interest, I grow sorry, always it leans on the child's side. You know, I've learned that batswadi ba bantši ba bana, more especially women, a pele gone mo ke ya mana banna. A ka re ka banna.
Yeah.
Ke ne le gaetsedi ya.
A gona bothata.
O hwetša motho a ile a re o nyaka o iša ngwana sekolo sa kwa godimo. Ba bona. Nna as a man I can see now gore ei a ke sa kgona. Wa bona. And she's forcing as a man nka diang gore ke lwisane le tabe, because go ja bantšhitše di expense ya ngwana, scafting, transport, school fees, saloon, diaparo tša mariga, summer, and all these things di mo rena banneng.
Ke nagana gore ke mo re buang ka contestation. Now as a man you must contest to say gore bona.
Yeah, contest.
Wena o ska batla go phela lifestyle ya gago ka salary ya ka.
Yeah. Because I've learned gore basadi ba bantši ba šomiša bana
Go batla gore
o nyaka go fita di standard nyana
tse di rileng. So it should be known gore ga ba rileng tate o tla patala sekolo, it doesn't mean gore mosadi o tshwantse go batla sekolo se ene status sa gagwe se mo suta. It should be a school. It should be a school se le gore se affordable and so within the range ya gore le ene should the man aska tlhola kgona go support le ena ba kgona go isa ngwana o sekolong. So but that does not happen because a kry le tloga le setse le lwile ka dilo tse dintsi, like the fightings that are between the partners ke tsone tse di dirang gore motho a go spider ba ka o tsena cure fela, and then o bo bona o setse mo mathateng wena o se lo feletsa ngwana a tsena sekolo se se normal jigi go jo register ko cure just because of wena o rile ke tla patala sekolo ko maintenance.
So do I as a father have a say? But because in most cases I'm aware, or fathers, they don't have a say ka taba gore ngwana bona a ye sekolong se se so. It's always the mothers.
That is why personally I wouldn't advise men to break down maintenance in that sense ya gore ke tseya sekolo ke tseya eng. If there is an amount for you to can say gore this is what I put on the table, add with what you have and let's make this child gore botshelo ba gago daily bo kgone go ba sharp. it should be an agreement, because then you are going to know, or as mosadi gore it should align with what you can afford in the absence of yeah.
Because
Guys, I'm a custodian and maintenance file. I've raised a child. And
wow.
I know.
What about tlhalosetse gore
You know,
keng?
you passionate when you talk about these things, because in most cases you would have been not. I don't call myself a victim. I have been a party to this.
So tlhalosa batho ba bantši ba kwešiša apo boletše ntho e nngwe
Okay.
le di-camera fele e tshogile.
All I'm saying ke gore I had to raise a child, ne? Where the father did not want to participate in any way socially, but only financially. You understand? And that emanated from us having a deadlock when we were dating. So what happened became that I took a decision then. I was pregnant and I felt, okay, the relationship is not relationshiping.
Yeah.
So I'm shipping out and I'll swim alone. Then when I shipped out, I think he had ideas that or maybe I was going to an alternative person who is going to carry over, which was not the case. I was only self-saving myself and my mental in the right state of mind. I think, yeah, mental health, I mean, those are no the mental health the breakdown. As an ex, we have gone through all of these things. You understand? But then you will quickly come back and say, I've never been pregnant before. This is my first pregnancy. I need to be sure gore ke shapo. Tla kra go tena go ngwana o eme o ile scanning ba re ngwana ha breathe sharp gore pelo e eme and when kan tiki mathata a wena o nang le one a mo dirang. So I had to walk out or check out of that relationship go sentse go le early. So the guy became very angry. Ne? This is now my perception because he never really had to tell me this. Ke bone reaction. When I told him, I will tell you after I gave birth, and then we will take it from there. He lost it, and detached, and became just very unfriendly. And Marazanga I liked this because I was breeding somebody and I wanted her to be fine. Yeah. So I did not care about how he's thinking. I was all about me. So yes, subsequent to me giving birth, and I told him, like I promised, I did that, kitties. He said, "Nwe," which became nothing. And I told his family, they came to see the child. And it was just a formality, the respect. The mom and the uncle came, babona ngwana sa questioning ke motho gore ke wa rona kokolo no mo tshwara so a tshwara serete a re bona ke saka a ne ke sa ba biletse go tla go confirm anything. I just wanted them to see their child. So the father would make promises, empty ones. Hey, ke atla hey ke gopola my younger sister antare ke kopane le ko ulwetse ya Mosami Max a jere trolley itletse dilo so are ke etla ke tlisa dio tsa ngwana tsatsi la bala phirim. 7 months down the line, I said, no man, this is not on. I'm actually paying everything by myself. I went and fetched my aunt back home. I have to work, and you know all of these things. Like if no tla romela tšhelete ya nene fela for now, because I've decided gore di account tse bo hulwetse le bo accounts e be tsone di stepfather tsa ngwana. You know, I will pay them because then ke khona go reka mele ke go hulisa. So ke tla ira bjang because you can't ka salary one and then suddenly your life has changed. There's so many things that has changed. Now ke tla umpha run around ke okay. A rent like if ngwana wa go palela o motlise ke tla mo ikgodisetse. Karo this is now the something se dutse mo tlhogong ya gago, but na sa itse re tshwantse se ntshe byang a ba re ke be mara ke re what do you mean a ba re no ke bona ka re you pestering me ka taba ya gore how much am I going to give you per month for ngwana. So ne ke re na can take care of the child ke re Otherwise, we can go forward. Forward.
a ye pele tabe
Okay.
a re ke monna
So
mo.
he thought, no. He then threatened me by saying, "Gore, we apply la custody."
Okay.
Kare, it's fine, let the ball, let the ville roll. So I went first to maintenance court. I never got anything from him from taba ya go batla gore a kry-e not access, custody. And from there, Bamubita, Radula for maintenance, we agreed on what we agreed on. The anger, from the first order that was made, I think it was something that out of the ordinary, I wouldn't have thought relationship could have gotten so very bitter about the whole thing. So it build up something nasi willing go ntsha the head e ke mo hetileng ka yone ile gore ke tsamaile ke le break nasi willing to compromise and be fine ya re ngwana ke okay happy or eng a ke re na ke batlene ne ke re ela tlo take position. So he ended up as a ngwana of his absence by thinking that o utlwisa nna botlhoko. Yeah, no, they do, because what I did really what I did religiously, and I always say I commend myself and my heart to be a good person that I am. I continued to involve him because why? The maintenance is being paid every month, so I kept him up to date. I remember, I think one of 9, 10, papa le mama, so I'll make the child to call really 1 or 2 times I lose interest. Very bright child, combined. Now you can never not feature when it's Woody Awards and so I tried to keep him up to date. Then on the other side, he was not reciprocating because no, lunching, hey, what payday he does not feature. What do I do as a child, as a mother? He does not pitch. I must now, out of the money that he sent, spare I goja a dlale a be happy ke mo aketse gape ke re papa ga go a re ga kgone go tla a santa because I didn't want to I didn't want to have that thing ya gore no I did that religiously today le ena ka nna ema molatla o tla wa e bua e bolela go tshwana le ya increase. Na itse gore I don't run to the courts every year like people are doing annually. Yeah, no, na sa dire. Kana go ke yang ka yona. He would just say to the maintenance officer, please give her what she wants because she doesn't handswenye. And reasonable because of bonaki after 4 years. Sale ke patala bokana ka jara eso. So it's okay, I'm agreeing. So we were not fighting when it comes to the but he just did not want to be part of the child. But it's water under the bridge. My daughter is 21 today. I'm happy.
Wow.
She's no. I agree. We mean that with everything that we have, God on our side, we soldier on.
Okay. Wow. To me,
we've got more stories to tell. Come
on. Yeah. So, because honestly, there are fathers out there. I can't always gijigele
basadi.
I can't gijigela man. I can't really court on men. Yes, now we've learned or there are ways in which you can access your child.
Yes.
Also an excuse here or one dinner one, 1, 2, 3. But there are those fathers. Those fathers that actually decide to run away from their kids and they don't want to take responsibilities. When
your presence in a child's life should not be limited by what you have in your pocket. go nneng teng ga gago mo botshelong ba ngwana, it means you must be across the board available. Because remember, on a social space, it can be that obana le motho o berekang di shift as a mother of the child. Then there are certain things and extramural activities that she cannot also be able to attend as a result of miracle or scopes of miracle. Then when as a present father, you facilitate those other things like from 2 o'clock until 6 kidi athletic. Let's say mama ke le security do targets. Wena o khona gore we go go ra go ke tla mo isa di sports or the athletic. Saturday ba re ke di soccer what mama teng go miracle. Presence ya motsadi e phala le the money that people are thinking gore ke yone e re dirang rich. I should have been rich by now.
So you guys let's have because of money. I love what she's saying because you guys let's have because it's not even about money. Ho ba teng wa hao nje. It matters.
Yeah, no. When you come to that one, the choices that we are making as basadi le tsone, they are doji. Lenyalo is a very beautiful thing. Ne? I've never went the other side. Always ke break a mood engagement then because then you get to realize gore motho ke motho ntseng yang ka nako e o setseng o ipofile gore e ra tsena raya o re ya lo tola ka le ka mo le leng ka mo mara ha o tla go bona the real person behind the character, you realize gore I'm not going to do this because already ke bona the red flag, and should I proceed, I have a child to protect. And o tla kra o krele a partner o jealous from the onset. Aria wena ngwana gago everything o complain ka ngwana gago this gore ke re ha o re ngwana ka re le babedi in a relationship re try go builder o tshontsho always o bone diphoso mo ngwane o wena o pallang ke go mo khalemela. It can't be. So then you are not fit to be a father. You understand? So motho a ring I will go side by side le wena should be able to say to the child in your presence gore born wena to me a ke rate 1 2 3 and 4 and ke bolella mama gago so because ke sa batle gore e nne ena go khalang wena you should know that as the head of this house ke eng se ke sa se batleng so that it's a mashup, it's smoothie wana we utlwa from the voice of the father figure you understand but how ka thomontsho re le go side go bone ngwana ga go nna ke buile le ene ha nkutlwele then you are on the wrong because o blame motho mong and then ge nna ke tsaya side ya ngwana wa re ya always o support ngwana o le hana motho wa ka mo defendang. I am the person that should defend her. Why one because wena o bona diphoso fela tsa ga.
Okay. Buitumen. Ke a tsema most of the time no di goria wena o no agree. Ya go ga tsa batho ba re we pass. I want some of the things akro bana more especially her advantage goria na she's dealing with these things every day. And when you're still a student and this kind of things. Wow. Yes.
Majida should know gore you being available. Le ge ka ba ile gore la re ke mozolo akere la re ke go zola. Le ge o ka zola o gola 120 ka letsatsi. But out of the 120 o khona gore borotho ba ngwana ba skaftini ke go botsaya ke buisa go jarteng. Magogo a bone gore le nna gona le something se ke se dirang. Ga o tshwane le motho o reng completely ga ke gone. And the love that you are showing also by being present, it's not equated to anything monetary. Being a present father, e phala tšhelete tse batho ba di newang guys. I need to emphasize that gore e ba available and e o be present mo ngwaneng. O tlo o bone gore a di challenges tse o nang le tsone tsa gore motho o kgona go hate gore ga o mo ne madi a batlang a di ka kgona go lekana ka nako e wena o ntse na a time is money again. Ge o tsana kwa gago o spenda le ngwana or mo direla dilo tse leng gore mmateng a kgone go di dira. It's equal to maintenance emotionally and socially.
So Majida, the mere fact ya gore o romela tšhelete doesn't mean gore o papa ka nnete ba o bitsa ATM fathers. Wa bona? So gentlemen, na my advice gore let's be present baneng ba rena. So we've learned that there are ways in which we can be available. Ba rata goba ba sa rate. So Bitumelo wena in closing o ka advise jwa ngwana o mongwe le gore o nyaka o gain access ya papage mara o ne le challenge o ya ka story se o re tlhaloseditseng go sone.
Okay, so bothata wa itse ka ke taba ya gore running, you'll have to wait setse o le o mogolonyana gore at least obane 18 at least gore lo kgone go etsa dilo tse tsa ke di bua tsa gore nane you can go bo Home Affairs o ngwale di-affidavit, especially when it comes to taba ya surname the way ne ke bua ka teng. You have to go o etse taba tsa di-affidavit, o bue le bona both sides ba botse okay, this is what I want, and yeah. So, and another thing for Majita, ke sa bolela hape ke re guys, berekisang molao o teng, molao it's given. Shota fela ka gore lena le ML and use it. Stop ho dulela mo fatshe and le re basadi this and this. Rena we stand up for ourselves. That's why le tlo bona ka re molao o favor rena. And again, khopela gore taba ya tšhelete, it's not a must, guys. It's not even that much. Ho ba teng wa hao, ho build that relationship le ngwana hao. Wait, see, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I love relationship ya ka le papa ka because it's not even about money. Yeah, na ho advice am potse. Ba bona la setse o tla le wena moshemane o tla bua le nna o potsa dilo. Ke a tseba gore my dad already told me.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
Ya rupila eng una no re ke tlo tronke. It's not that easy because why? My father is present.
It's fine. It is what it is. With Dagi Deadless the man. Ha, what's working? We are going to happen. Come along. Dagi Deadless the man. Brenda. The Bitumelo. Buy a donkey. Thank you. Kalebora. Nya cancer. Nga chivenda ware. Nurevu. Marunga zindebelenda uyanduna kakamela ndini nombara jazz kita Deadless the man monare no beng go betsi buditla ko maga mathare na mana ga mapela ga batho ke re ke tšwe dilo ke tšhaba mediki.